Happy Thursday, everyone. And for
Happy
you
Thursday.
guys that just woke up, there could be a gut wrenching drop or a happy drop, depending on your position that you were in. We are excited. We are right around major support as well. Big question that we are going to be having, and the big question I'm sure that you have as well, are we going to bounce from here, or are we going to keep going down? So let's find out. B. Wellington's already on the chart, so tell us what you got, bro.
Well, this is an interesting deal because we've been calling this for a long time. Admittedly, we thought we were going to get a little bit of a reversal first before we had this move down, but longs never let go. I mean, if you looked at sentiment regarding on the funding charts, which we look at every morning, as well as some of the other indicators on the liquidations, there's a lot of people that continue to buy the dip in this area. And hopefully they're longer term players because, just didn't play out well if you bought the dip, up in this area, because now they're really testing those lows. But, what's concerning, we had talked about, coming back and getting this, getting this wick back. And we also talked about the 800 coming over into this pattern and what that kind of looks like. And unfortunately, if you did buy in that dip, the probability on this pattern, the way that it plays out, it generally guts down pretty nicely, because most people are going to continue to buy the dip. If they bought the dip here, they're going to continue to buy it. And so this violent move down is really going to be fast and quick in order to get people out of their positions if they were leveraged, and then set in a nice wick to the bottom to really set a base. And if we're looking at that, your next kind of large levels you're looking at here, 1550s, right? 1298s, and these are areas in which, from a technical standpoint, we're all going to sit here and look at this wick here, but really, these wicks don't mean that much, other than from a technical standpoint, there are areas in which people buy or would consider to be more support. And so, what you should do, and what we'll continue to do, is look at the liquidity that's in the market, what side it's on, and, kind of get into those levels. And we also have to realize that, and we talked about this before, if we're talking about a lot of this stimulus money that was given by the government being taken out by, the government, realize that before the stimulus, Ethereum was at $500. And so if you, come to the premise that the liquidity is going to be removed, we're looking more closer in that area than we are to where we're at right now. And so, but, we seem to be holding right now. We just had the open. The futures open. I know we're hanging out on the daily for a little longer than expected, but we've got the hourly. We've broken this peak here, which, if we would really want to be consistent with, I would say, market patterns, we wouldn't want to really see this break, or you want to see that break and you want to see a quick pullback to the upside, which may happen, but they also may be to chop some short or some long before it comes back down. Since we are at the open, we have to be somewhat aware of where we're at, as far as the sessions are concerned. So on the hourly, we have kept this breach of this last low. So I'm going to take some of these out of here because they really don't make any sense anymore. Even though sometimes when we leave them in, they do return to these areas at some point, but just cleaning up the chart. If it holds, we'll see. This is a critical area, so this could be considered to be a swing pattern failure to the low side. So we'll see. It also could be a trap to the upside relative to the open. We go into a smaller time frame. As you can see, we've had this large drop here overnight. We're kind of at the low ADR as well, which doesn't mean a whole lot, because sometimes it'll stick down here and then hang out and then move to the downside, later on in the day. But it'd be interesting to see if it really moves out of this area. You would want to see at least get back up to the daily open, or not even the daily open. Man, this drop was pretty nice, 1947 down to 1779. I mean, get back into some of these areas that where it ranged before, like last week's low, I would say. would be, if we can get back up there and maintain, but we maintain down here in this range here, could be ugly moving into tomorrow. So if we also look at things like OI, OI is at 4.8 billion. 4.8 billion. We were here, before, and so this is not new territory. So we're gonna hanging out at these lows. So that's not crazy. But we did get a lot of liquidation on that move to the downside.
Oh yeah, we did.
And a lot of folks, kind of buying into this as well. So I'm sure you'll find some more liquidations as we move down to the downside. I'm so excited this morning.
Well, we've been calling this for months, man.
Yeah,
so
it's calling it for a while.
It's really cool. It's really cool to watch things come together.
Play out. Yeah, and it's really cool to watch. To have basically what your intuition said. I mean, I've been in that short for 2 days, man. I don't like to hold shorts overnight, but I'm just so
confident. You're so confident.
Yeah, I'm so confident that the economy's fucked, and I'm so confident that, VCs are getting destroyed right now and covering their ass and having to pull money from all types of market. And where are they going to pull first? They're going to pull from crypto. But they'll probably put it back in first in crypto too to gain those returns. So if we're looking at funding rate, getting back to the chart versus on Ethereum. Funding rates still look fairly positive, overall.
Just crazy. This is just crazy that people are still long like this.
A lot of people bought at earlier support, and and I would say that they probably have a bottom in mind, right? They say, okay, well, we're at support. The next support's not that, because it wasn't that far away, a couple $100, right? So say, oh, they're going to DCA, or lower, their entry down. So they're actually probably going to buy a little bit more, try to lower that position in anticipation that we get this reversal. Depending on how many people do that and what side that is, if we just range in that same area like we ranged before, and we don't see any shorts to the downside, which really I don't think we will. I mean, would you short? I mean, I love to short. I think the bottom looks more like 1,400, right? 1,300. If we get past that, 500. I mean, we talked about that, 550, kind of in that area. That's where we were in March of 2020 when all this stuff started to happen.
So my personal. My personal.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just moving through to get things.
$581.15. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it now.
You already heard first. Oh.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up. 550 is where we were in March of 2020. Look, market's starting to respond. Traditional markets responding early. Again, there is supposed to be a notion, and I believe this staged.
I'm really surprised the Nasdaq's up, man.
Well, I believe that all this gets staged, man. All this is manipulated, and I think part of the manipulation is they want to see Bitcoin down on a day that the markets are up, and vice versa, in order to sell in the fact that we've gone through this decoupling. But I'm not buying it, man. I think this is very manipulated, and now manipulated to act as a better hedge to the downside. So when the market starts to trend up, Bitcoin and Ethereum are trending down, not buying it. Okay?
I'm not doing it.
I don't think
No.
that's not gonna happen. Don't buy into the hype of spot manipulating the market so that traders all of a sudden look at us as a decoupling. No, motherfucker, that's not how it works.
Not today.
Initial jobless claims. Now, this is positive information. This is positive. We've got continuing job claims as well at 1.35, which is, so this is kind of conflicting data. Real gross domestic product revision. I mean, pretty close in line with things. Real final sales domestic purchases 2.7. There was no estimation, but I would say this is flat. This number here, real gross domestic income, Q1 versus, I mean, I would think this is pretty huge as a negative. That's a loss, right? Relative to as macro indicators go. So I would say most of this information is pretty flat, whereas this is, the biggest variance. And so we'll see how all that kind of reacts. I didn't refresh this before we got here, so let's see if that refreshes. And if it does, we'll take this and try to merge that into the last session. So this is a pretty good amount of data, the 21st to the 26th, and we've got POC right up at 1971. So we're definitely in some of these value area ranges that we haven't seen in a while, just because we have been in this, this wick that's over here. And so if we were to look at this TOP versus where we're at now, it looks like kind of the median is about 1827. So I'd expect us to get back up to that 1827 if we go back to the charts. I'm just curious. 1827. I mean, that's still a good move for anybody who wants to scalp, but it kind of doesn't, kind of gets back up into this M0 area where this last little peak up here, runs. So
I got some cool news coming up for you here in just a minute.
I'm done.
You're done. You're ready to see. You're ready to see what we got over here.
I'm ready to see
the
real deal,
the real deal, the Holy Grail. Because I got it, baby. Let's check it out. So this is exciting. I'm going to refresh this real quick, just so you can see it here. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So we are currently down here in the 1780 range right now. 1788 is where we're trading at. And $106 million, 1928. They ain't gonna leave that there, bro. We will retrace back into this area, and just, not sure where the daily open is, but it's at 1942. So, guys, do expect that we may go all the way back up and revisit that daily open that we started yesterday, because they don't leave these kind of liquidations out there. That's not something they do, especially this kind of volume. I highly expect that we're going to see us return into this range, probably sooner than later, to be honest with you. As Bookmap goes. So this obviously was an exciting morning. I don't know about you guys. I was lucky enough to take a look at this, get in a quick short, right about up here. I got to ride that baby all the way down, and I jumped in another long right here in this area, and I'm currently riding this up. But as you can see, we had the big drop, the CVD came, we bottomed out right here. We are starting to return. We've done what I like to call the flip. So there's a good possibility that we do have to come in and probably fill these orders, 1775, something like that. Expect us to maybe range down in this area to fill these order books up. But I do think that we're going to see some strong movements to the upside just to recover here and go grab those short liquidations. What do we have below us? What do we have above us? This is also some interesting news, especially for you guys that like to short. As you can see, they're moving price up, which is an indicator that we are heading to the up direction. We came down, got into this area, and as you can see, they're starting to slide up, which usually is a good indicator that we're moving up. And then we have long-term liquidity at 1,700, but folks, that's not where the big long-term liquidity is hiding out, because we haven't gone down to see it yet because we haven't been that close. But there's been a long-term liquidity right here at 1,200. But as you can see, they kind of spread out the orders right after we got down at that bottom end. So that's kind of interesting here. Let's see if there's anything else further down that we need to be paying attention to. Doesn't look like it, guys. Right here around 1,200 to 1,000. That's all the liquidity on the books right now. So, are we going to continue to the downside? Are we going to get there? I'm not sure yet, but I do think prices have to go higher to go lower, and prices also have to go lower to go higher. I know it's confusing, but we are on the downtrend right now. And we have some big liquidations above us to go grab. So do expect us to revisit that area that I said that was, what, 19 something? 1928, 1940. Do expect us to get back into that range, and then do pay close attention to what happens once we get inside of that range. So this is going to be a fun day. It's going to be a very interesting day. Yesterday kind of sucked. It was boring. So let's see what happens, guys. And that's all we have for today. Be careful for trading. Hopefully you can grab some money on this long, and don't get
No financial advice.
don't get too trapped.
Don't get too trapped. Don't get trapped.
Well, sometimes you get trapped. So if you're gonna get
Don't
trapped,
get too trapped.
don't get too trapped, because when you get too trapped, that's usually a pretty costly mistake most of the time. You might lose a little hair at the same time. So anyway, that's all we have for today. That's all I got. So until next time, tomorrow, same time, same place. AM.